Welcome back to Earth 1111. I'm Roxanne. I want to talk in this video about the crazy week of Trump almost getting assassinated. And more importantly, it's a really good lesson when we start going to the core of what's going on, especially with blaming the shooter. Is he a scapegoat? Is he possessed? And more importantly, also understanding as we move into the Lionsgate 888 portal in August, this is the peak magnetic spin of the planet, of the planetary grids, which really means the Earth is the least dense in August every single year. And this is your opportunity to ascend to the next level at such a rapid pace because we are moving into anti-particle energy fields, which is really dematerialization. So dematerialization of your physical existence. So it's such an important time, which is of course why these types of things happen at this time of year, to keep people's attention outside of themselves. So whether this was staged, it wasn't, who the shooter is, who it isn't, all that doesn't really matter. We have to realize that step one, the way that evil works, is to divide people based on anything into smaller and smaller packets until you are standing alone by yourself in a scary, scary world. So that is why we are constantly bombarded with separation energy, that consciousness, right? Whether it's through your political party, your beliefs, your race, religion, anything. So remember that you want to make sure that you are not in that polarity thinking that, oh my God, what's going on? And we need to, figure it out and watch every single ridiculous story out there right now. Okay, so that being said, remember that it is your time to dematerialize at the maximum rate, especially this year. It's a 10-year peak, being the 888 portal on the Lionsgate, August 8th. So we are moving into rapid dematerialization right now, which is you moving up in your Kundalini activation, your DNA activation, your ascension. So don't waste it on, I wouldn't say petty things, because right, someone got shot, and we have to have that compassion no matter what you feel about certain people in the world. Remember that it's about going within yourself as well, right? So putting your attention less on outside of yourself, blaming the outside world. Okay, so this is what I want to get into. Whether that guy actually did shoot, right? Whether he was actually the shooter or not. Do we believe what we're told? Never. But what I want to talk about is the core of something, because that is how we understand, right? This is a great teaching tool when we can look at the fact that all the fingers are pointed toward this guy. He's the evil one. He's the bad guy, right? So whether you like Trump or not, remember that when you have someone at that level where they are going to that extreme to try to kill someone, it is never a good thing no matter who it is, right? So, but why would someone go to that extreme? Was he possessed? Was it some MK Ultra stuff on him, right? Some mind control. So I'm gonna get into all that in the video. And if you're into this kind of topics, definitely subscribe to the channel and hit that bell, because I talk about everything from the crazy transformation happening in the world and yourself in your own body, and awakening, ascension, new earth, and many different things in between. So definitely subscribe to the channel. And you can follow me also on my other platforms, Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook, for a lot more content there on Earth 1111. Okay. So let's get into first seeing this guy, right? This bad guy. He's the evil one that tried to, right, really did kill someone apparently. So is he a scapegoat? Well, right, we can't say that, okay, he's innocent, right? So whether he did it or not, let's assume he did. So In this world, we like to point fingers out the outside hologram, the outside world for all of our problems. We like to project that blame onto these bad people, these evil people in the world, and say that if it wasn't for this guy or these reptilian, right, so-called elites, or this person, then the world would be okay. When that's not the case, we have created a gong show in the world. It's a false matrix that really was created because of originally, okay, so this isn't something that just happened recently. This goes on many, many layers and billions of years. Actually, you can watch my other playlist, New Earth Shift. In particular, videos such as billion-year-old evil and understanding that we are the guardians of the galaxy, and things like, right, understanding the false matrix with how they want to try to trap people's souls and the shift going on. I have lots of other videos, so check them out after this one. Because we have to realize that, yes, there is evil in the planet, on the planet. What is evil? It is shadow consciousness that has yet been integrated back to the light. So we all have shadow. We all have parts of ourselves that we can consider are evil. And when we say that, okay, this guy is just the bad one, he randomly did it, right? And we're the innocent one. That's opposite of really what's going on. We have to realize that there is consciousness. Yeah, there's ancient consciousness that is literally, we can say, that primordial evil. But it's not like demons and dark entity type of thing. We need to realize that what is the shadow? The shadow is all of the collective trauma body of everyone's garbage that they have yet to even deal with. So we like to, again, project that this guy is the bad one, and it's nothing to do with us, right? The world's gone to crap because of all these people out here. Yeah, we can say that's partly true, right? There is some people that are definitely to blame, these multinational greedy corporations and the heads of them. But they're perfect examples, just like this guy, that we can observe what happened and be like, okay, now what is the underlying issue of why he would go to that extent, that he felt that desperate to try to kill somebody, right? Because the shadow is all the parts of ourselves that have been traumatized. So every time that you go through something, like something shocking where your nervous system kind of freezes like this, that fight or flight feeling, or right, where you have an accident, or you hear something shocking, or you have abuse, like any single thing. Now I'm talking about in our childhood, I'm talking about anything your ancestors went through, any time of your past lives, right? So it's many, 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 many layers deep. We can add up all of that, and we can realize that that is the shadow. It's the parts of us that we don't love, that we're embarrassed by, that we don't want to deal with. So this piece of you got walled off and actually got lost in time and space, and you moved on from that moment in time. And that piece of you continued to relive that same trauma over and over again in a loop. So you gotta realize that we are infinite soul parts, that many parts of us, until we integrate them, so it's called soul retrieval. Now in shamanism, this is like what I do 24/7, especially with my gatekeeping and things. I do collective shadow work and soul retrievals for huge bodies of people. Because when we are opening up grids and stargates, then huge chunks of consciousness, of essentially consciousness that's been trapped in a certain pocket in time space, or in the grids, or a certain time in the time spiral, which, like I said, when you have a shock or a shocking moment or something happened, there's a piece of you where that energy wasn't processed. It was too traumatic in the moment, so you just kind of walled it off. Now we have so many pieces like this every single person, that until you start doing your shadow work, then we have just this collective ball of hell that is festering on the planet that people don't even want to look at, right? So we blame it. This is the bad guy, right? And so we need to realize that, okay, so many of you are probably already on the path of doing that healing, but as you move into more and more layers of the shadow, you don't even realize that there's certain pieces of you that are trapped or that were walled off until you get to that point where you're like, whoa, I opened up another rat's nest, let's say, another aspect of myself. And I didn't know that was there, but oh my God, there's yet another piece of me or a huge part of me that I didn't have access to. Because it's really, you don't have access to the shadow. That's how it works, right? And so again, in the entire world, we like to point fingers and project that this is, right, these are all the problems. But people don't like to be like, the problems within myself, and really all of us on a collective scale. Think about the whole world, every single person going through this struggle, right? They're going through this dark night of the soul where they are just trying to exist, trying to get by moment by moment. It is a rough world. It is, right? There's lots of hardships. And imagine all the negative thought forms that people are thinking 24 hours a day. Those go somewhere. They don't just disappear, right? They go somewhere into this collective mental body. And we, as the light workers, the empaths, the shadow transmuters, get to deal with a lot of that. This is why a lot of times people are like, it's psychic attack. Well, it's actually things clearing. You are the lighthouse for these energies that, so these are energies that have consciousness. Think of it as a being. Now that being has been ignored, unloved, blamed for potentially thousands of years. When you can be that lighthouse for that dark monster, because these things get so distorted, they can be like a scary monster. And trust me, I deal with this all the time. So it gets, right, there's moments when you're in that it can be very scary. But just realize that we are transmuting for the collective that can't. Especially if you're watching my videos. Now I have many other videos, so check them out if all this is kind of like, whoa, what the hell is she talking about? I have lots of videos to describe all these types of things. But that is really the biggest thing we have to realize as far as this bad guy, right, that people are blaming and obsessed in getting all the details on. He's a perfect example of someone who is traumatized, probably possessed. Okay, so let's get into that. Think about every time that you have been in a situation where where say someone gets triggered and they get angry and it's just like a blank slate. You can't, right, their eyes glaze over. You just can't, right, they can't look you in the eye. They're just in this mode, this possession. That is an example of you being triggered where a shadow aspect of yourself, a trauma, gets activated, and you come from that fight or flight part of yourself in the moment. People cannot calm you down, right? So we've all been like that. We're not innocent, none of us, right? We've all been in that mode where something pisses us off and we just go off the deep end. And later we're like, oh my God, I don't know why I went off like that. It's because of the shadow. It's so unconscious that you have to actually only deal with it when it's activated, is when you even know it's there. So that is the whole point of shadow work. You don't know these things are hidden until they're activated. And then you're like, whoa, I didn't know that part of me was so angry. And that part of you deserves to be angry because of something that happened in the past. The whole point is we don't use that as an excuse to be a victim going forward. We acknowledge that part of ourselves and we integrate it, we love it, we hear it out, right? We integrate that emotion of whatever it is that's so scary that we push away. We're so embarrassed by it, we're so disgusted with it, right? All these parts of the collective shadow that are really individuals adding up to be all of us, this huge amount of shadow on the planet. So was the guy possessed? Probably. Was he mind controlled? Well, that's what happens when you activate a piece of you that's the shadow. It is under mind control because it's in that fight or flight where there's no thinking involved. It's just automatic. It's like instincts. Okay, so when I talk about being possessed, we got to think about, we live in a world where 99% of people, okay, let's say maybe now it's more like 90% of people are kind of in that possessed mode, that total brainwashing mode of the hive mind, just going through, right, based on programs inside them without a lot of conscious thinking at all, right? They have automatic negative thoughts, they have automatic reactions. So really, people exist in that possession mode 24 hours a day. Now, of course, when you get to the point where you have so much shadow, you're like a black hole person. So I call that. The person has become a black portal for darkness. Now, essentially, the opening of the door to that is their own shadow. You heal your own shadow, which are reversals in your energy field. So think of it like your aura. Well, you have parts that are walled off, twisted in reverse, where that light is blocked. And so they become voids within yourself. And when we have a whole world of people that exist from that shadow, they're possessed 24/7. And it's very easy for someone like that to be manipulated by the system. Now there's, of course, huge literal government scientific experiments done, especially in, I think it was the 50s, on how far can you go to completely possess someone, right? To completely manipulate someone. And that was called, well, actually there was quite a few different experiments, but one was called MK Ultra. We are easy manipulated. Think about our entire world. It's a death culture. Literally, the entire world, from the moment we're born, we are born in a false matrix, a phantom world that was never normal. It is psychotic. So from the beginning, we are poisoned through food, air, water, cell phone towers everywhere. And it gets so creepy when you think about, right, children playing video games with blood and gore and killing people. And you know, essentially society glorifying these scary, horrible movies of just creepy, creepy things, right? And so people are just so possessed. Your head is down in a screen all day long. There's not a lot of consciousness going on in the world, in the vast majority of people. And so when you have a whole world that is groomed to be controlled, and with very negative situations, right? Children should not be subjected to killing video games or scary movies, period. It is psychotic, but it's normal, right? But nothing in this world is normal. And if you're watching my videos, I'm guessing that you know that. But that's the thing you have to realize, is that every single thing in our society is trying to make people so possessed, so, you know, just operating in reverse, operating under complete brainwashing. The herd mentality is normal, which is why you need to activate and become that sovereign, free being. Which is also why, when it comes to, right, if you're obsessed with the political games going on, you're choosing one or the other sides of polarity. That's separation consciousness. That is literally the opposite of your power. Your power is in the center, in the 0 point, in the neutrality, the ability to see the whole picture, the 360-degree picture of everything going on in the world. So you got to go many layers deep. We can't blame this, and right, so really, when someone gets to the point where he grabs a gun and goes on a roof or whatever the story is, right, you're going to be pretty desperate. Now, when you exist in that state where you live such a life of just right? Everything you do is trying to make you negative. Your whole entire scenario, you are around these horrible frequencies that are causing havoc in your body. Your nervous system's fried. Your brain is controlled, right? Think about all these things are subjected, or so all of these toxic technologies out there that we think are normal, our phones, right? Billions of satellites up there for absolutely no purpose, all these different things. They are targeting your brain waves. It's not random. They could choose any frequency. There's infinite numbers of frequency bandwidth, so they could choose, almost like a radio, right? Like a radio dial. You change the radio station, you hear a different signal. They chose your own biorhythms of your body and your brain on purpose. I wonder why that is. So I can talk about that more in a future video if you guys want. Let me know. But I really hope that you have that compassion right now for one another. Realize that you go on this bandwagon of separation, you're going to feel like you're all alone in a big, scary world. So understanding the shadow means dealing with our own shadow and realizing that the problem isn't out here. The problem is every one of us that allowed this to go on, that turned our back on evil, right? When we are totally aware of what's going on, we can put our foot down and say, enough is enough. So this is going to be a really big trigger event to rapid acceleration of craziness in the world. I literally did an energy update for July called Shit Show because I just felt something was brewing big, and we're just at the beginning. It's going to continue to get crazy, so take care of yourself, spiritual hygiene, and check out my many other videos to support you, and subscribe to the channel. And also, I have many other courses on my website for a lot of support to go deep into a lot of topics to really uncover a lot. Way more than I can ever talk about on YouTube. So you can check out my website, EARTH1111.com. And thank you so much for all of you that did buy a course for me or two there last week. In the last couple of weeks, I did send you an email. So if you have any issues, then check your spam folder or your junk mail folder, because my emails like to end up in the junk folder. So check it out. And thank you so much for anyone that supports me with donations or anything else, because it really, right? I don't have sponsors for a reason. I am neutral, sovereign, and free, and I will not be controlled by anyone. So I am fully supported by you. So thank you so much to all of you that support my work. I love you so much. Please also hit the like button and comment below. It really helps my videos get seen to more people. Share my video as well, because it's getting crazy out there. And I really hope that my videos can be seen by a lot more new people. So thank you so much for sharing on all your social media platforms. Remember, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook. Follow me there for a lot more different content. And we'll see you very soon. I'm Roxane. Shine bright out there. The world needs you. Lots of love, and we'll see you very soon on the channel, EARTH1111. All right, bye.